my Titan-sized, scratch-built, great Unclean one. And if you saw my Warlord Titan video, you'll know what the inspiration was this was from. So basically I needed something to up against my loyalist Imperial Warlord Titan. Once I'd finished that was a few years ago, back in 2022. And I toyed with the idea of doing buying another Titan, Warlord Titan, and making that chaos, but I didn't. It just, I felt like I'd been there, done it, and I wanted more of a challenge. So this came to mind because I love Nurgle and Death Guard and all the rest of it, and I love the pictures that in the artwork where you see these huge these huge demons towering over tiny little models, and I thought, I really want to do that. Why doesn't GW do that? That would be fantastic, but they don't, and they, maybe they will, but they don't to date. And so that gave me the opportunity. I also thought, it could be quite easy because it's just lots of blobby. It's just blobby, isn't it, really? It's not as easy as that. I will be doing making of videos separately to this, so I'm just going to basically show this off. Yeah, so what have you got? You got a great Unclean one, very much based on the standard GW Great Unclean one. You can see I've modelled the face very much on that, and the horns and all the rest of it. I did toy with doing a sword, but I like the idea of doing the gun, which is based off of the Forge World Demon Prince, and I like the idea of doing a can on the back as well. In the end, you'll see I did 3 cans to reflect NBC, nuclear bacterial chemical. I'll show that in a minute. But yeah, so he's a flail wielding, gun toting, Warlord Titan sized Great Unclean one. And I would just, in game terms, just use Warlord Titan rules and stats and all the rest of it. I wouldn't monkey around with anything. But yeah, I wanted to do this. I've been wanting to do it for years and years. And finally, and I'd been buying all the bits and stacking them up and making a mess of my flat, but just not having the guts to get around to it all the time, frankly. And then I was kind of pricked into action by seeing that someone on YouTube had done a similar sort of idea, and that kind of annoyed me, frankly, because I've been sitting on this idea for years, and then someone else had beat me to it, as it were, and it's my own damn fault for just procrastinating. But and then luckily as well, I got made redundant in March of 2025 this year, and that gave me the time to do it. And once I got started, it actually tripped along pretty quickly, surprising. But you'll see from the making of videos, all the sort of details. So things to pick out. This model, the Demon Prince, which is awesome. Come on. It's a great model in itself. Comes with a herald. That's the herald, and obviously Mechanicus vibe to him. So I've done him as Mechanicus, and he's looking after the gun. And then you've got these Furies, which I made back in the day when Furies were allowed. GW changed the rules, and now they're no longer allowed. And you've got clear resin wings. Let's see if I can get the light to shine through. Clear resin wings, come on, shining through. And so they've been sat doing nothing, gathering dust, and I thought, okay, I'll just recycle them. So I took them off the bases, and here they are. You've obviously got Nurglings scattered around all over the place. And disgusting stuff coming out of his belly. You've got trophies, so knight heads, along with their pilots. More hangers on. You've got smoke effects and more trophies, banners, battle banners, grey knights, and sororitas, scions, and the green ones, whatever, dark angels. Yeah, smoke effects, which I'd not done before. Sort of smoky things going on, which is a nice thing to try out. And then let me just pause. The back. I wanted to show the back. So the cans, I said there were 3. Nuclear, bacterial, chemical. I put, again, this is another experiment. Kind of worked and didn't work as I hoped. There are UV LEDs in each pot. You can just about see there's some glow in there. It's better in the dark, to be honest. That looks, yeah, you can see the light glowing through there a bit. I don't know if I'm getting close, yeah. And the paint itself that I mixed into the resin is UV glow paint, which reacts to sunlight, and it looks great after the sun's been on it, and you close the curtains and it starts glowing. But it's not quite worked the way I hoped it would, but anyway. So I've done a normal glow effect on the what do we call it, flail here, using airbrush and whatnot as usual. And the flail itself is more trophies, it's Titan heads. And then you've got this great unclean one, actual great unclean one hanging off a chain. And then the conceit is that this goes on down to the viral scale. So you've got, you know, the big boy, Vern, or whatever you want to call him. I haven't given him a name, but I like the idea of Big Vern. So Big Vern, his flail. So he's the big fella. Obviously Papa Nurgle's the big fella, but he's decent size. And you've got the great unclean one hanging off of his chain, a Nurgling hanging off his chain, and then some smaller nasty gribbling hanging off of that one, and then so on and so on and so forth, all the way down to viral scale. I just like the idea of that, sort of viral infestation, whatever. And it's all down to Nurgle. And then you've got this tree thing, and I like the idea of this being a parasite, actually sort of feeding off and maybe even killing the great unclean one. And you can see there are roots throughout, this body of this thing. Yeah. What else? Anything else? In this sort of mini Nurgle's garden going on. You've got the gardener's set. Can't remember what set it was from. Yeah. And very much I wanted to get the feeling of, with all this stuff, this mess on the horn and whatnot and everywhere else, of a sort of John Blanche picture. I love the John Blanche pictures, they're really good. But yeah, great unclean one. Going to Essen in Germany in October for Golden Demon. I'm not going to win anything because, frankly, Golden Demon painters are just amazing and I'm not. But I'm hoping that the sheer stupidity and audacity of this thing will at least get a mention, an honourable mention. Oh yeah, LEDs in the eyes as well, of course. Oh, and the eyes are marbles, by the way, just like this, marbles, these marbles basically. Yeah, and that's it. I shall be doing a making of video, or making of videos, plural, at some point.